Hi, my name is Angel. Welcome back to my channel, and welcome back to me trying to read books off of my TBR. I recently read the highest rated and the lowest rated books. Now we are going to be reading the most popular books on my TBR. So once again, I will be choosing 2 from my Goodreads TBR and 1 from my physical TBR. So I have my Goodreads list pulled up. So let's just go ahead and get into it. I actually have to change this to show me the number of ratings, and then we can see what the most popular book is. Okay, so the most popular book on my Goodreads TBR is The Metamorphosis, but it's weird because at the time that I'm filming this, I haven't read it yet, but by the time you're seeing this, I have read it, so that's confusing. So right underneath that one is Atomic Habits, with 847,000 readers or ratings. I'm conflicted because I don't know if I want to read that for this video. Okay, I cheated a little bit because there were a couple of nonfiction books that popped up that I didn't want to read in this video. So the next one is The Family Upstairs by Lisa Jewell, which has 405,000 ratings. Really was not expecting that. I do like Lisa Jewell. I think I've only read a couple of her books. This one has been on my TBR for a really long time, so I'm excited to read that one. And then right underneath that is Yellowface by R.F. Kuang, which I am not surprised at. 386,000 ratings, and this was a really popular talked about book last year. It sounds really interesting to me, and I'm very excited to read that one. So we've got those 2. We're gonna go over to my physical TBR shelf and do the same thing, and I'm really scared. Okay. The most popular book on my physical TBR is The Perks of Being a Wallflower, which I should have known. 1.7 million ratings on Goodreads. So I just realized I didn't screen record that, so I apologize. But at least I told you guys that I cheated. I didn't try to hide that. I was gonna say I didn't cheat, I promise, but I did. But I told you, so it's fine. Anyway, those are the 3 books that we're gonna be reading in this video, so let's go ahead and get into it. What am I gonna say about this book?
It sucks ass.
I started Yellowface, and I am currently on page 58. I just got to chapter 5, and I'm really enjoying it so far. I love a good literary fiction, and whenever I read literary fiction, I always wonder why I don't read more literary fiction because I enjoy it so much. I feel like it just kind of, I don't know. There's a time and a place for literary fiction, and it just needs to be the right mood and the right vibe, and I really love it. Anyways, this is the first book I've ever read by R.F. Kuang, and I am really enjoying the writing style. It's very addictive, and it just like makes it such a quick read, and it's definitely like a book that you can get lost in the story. I know I'm still like very early into the book, but I don't know. It's just one of those books that you forget that you're reading. So our main character in this is June, and she is an author, and she had an author friend named Athena. And one night, the 2 of them are together, and Athena ends up dying, and June finds an unfinished manuscript, a first draft for a new novel. And she decides, since Athena is so much more successful with her literary career and so much more well-known, and she's really jealous of her, she decides to take that manuscript and make revisions, and she's going to publish it under her name now. So very scandalous. Like, she is really trying hard to justify her reasons and saying like, oh, it's not theft, it's not plagiarism, because like I changed all this stuff. And yeah, we're gonna see where the story plays out from there. I'm just really enjoying it, and I'm enjoying all of the like literary talk and the talk about writing a book and publishing a book and the whole industry. I think is really interesting. And I have really high hopes for this book because I've heard nothing but good things about it. So I'm gonna keep reading and let you guys know when I get a little bit further into it. Currently on page 155, chapter 12 in Yellowface, and I am absolutely loving this book, you guys. It is one of those books, one of my favorite things, where when you're not reading it, you are thinking about it, and when you are reading it, you forget that you're reading a book. Like, I am so captivated and so entranced with the whole story. I think it's absolutely fascinating. The way that it's written is so good as well, and I'm just really loving all of the like literary talk, but also all of the commentary and the talk on racism. Obviously, I know what I think I remember what I told you guys about this book, like the general like premise where June takes this book that Athena has written and she publishes it under her own name, but the story, the book that was written was about, it's like a historical fiction about Chinese laborers in World War I, and June is white. She has no Asian descent in her at all. So there's a lot of conversation about, you know, regardless of the plagiarism and the theft aspect of it, is it right for a white author to tell this story that is about this population that she is not related to in any way? And there has just been some drama. Somebody is onto her and what she has done, so now there is a lot of Twitter discourse and just a lot of like, what is the word I'm looking for? I don't know. A lot of drama and a lot of good conversations, and I'm really enjoying it. Like I said, when I'm not reading this book, I'm thinking about it because it's like, it's so good, and I am just like right at the halfway point. So I feel like things are gonna escalate very quickly from here, from what has just happened in the last chapter that I've read, and I'm absolutely dying to get back into it. So I'm gonna cut this off so I can get back to reading, and I will let you guys know. Maybe I'll update you before the end, maybe not. My plan is to just absolutely binge this and finish it tonight because it's just so good. So I'll come back at some point and let you guys know how I'm feeling. I finished Yellowface. I'm about to go to bed, but I just wanted to let you guys know that I really enjoyed the book for the reasons that I already talked about, like the writing and just the feel of the story while you're in it is absolutely fascinating. So captivating. I feel like this is a book that it could have just kept going and I would have eaten it up. Like, I just really liked being in the story, and I feel like if it was a little bit longer I wouldn't have been mad about it, but I do think it was a really good length. I enjoyed the way things went at the end, although it went a different way than I was expecting, but I can't say I'm really surprised because I didn't really have like a thought process or what I thought the end of the book was gonna be, so I feel like either way I would have been surprised by it, but I did like the way that it ended. Obviously there's a lot of conversations in here about censorship, cancel culture, the publishing industry, racism, and I thought it was all really interesting and I really enjoyed it. So I think I'm gonna give this 4 stars. I'm really glad that I added it to my TBR, and I'm really glad that I read it because I liked it. It's definitely worth the hype, but it has me second guessing now if I want to read Babel or not, because originally that was not a book that I was interested in at all, but enjoying this so much, I feel like it might be worth it to try it and see if I enjoy her writing as much in that one, you know what I mean? I know it's like a fantasy book, so it's gonna be different, but I've heard that it also has like the same kind of literary bookish elements to it, so you guys let me know if I should pick that up or not. But I'm really happy that the first book for this video went very successfully. Highly recommend it. Like I said, it's definitely worth the hype. So today at work, I've been listening to the audiobook for The Family Upstairs, and I actually got 62% of the way through. Brings me to chapter 41. That's what it looks like in the actual physical book. So it should be time for me to update you guys and let you know how I'm feeling. I'm really enjoying it so far. So let me think of what to say about the plot that is not spoiler, because obviously, like I said, I've just been listening throughout the day and I got that far into the book without realizing I got that far into the book, so I have to kind of figure out what the synopsis says and what I can actually tell you guys about it. So the story is told through 3 different perspectives. One of the perspectives that we are reading from is a woman named Libby, who has just had her 25th birthday, and on her 25th birthday she gets a letter saying that she has inherited this house. And back in the day, at this house, there was an incident that was deemed as like a suicide by these like cult members, where these 3 people were found dead in the house. They had 4 children living there, and the children were gone, and the only other person in the house was a 10-month-old baby, who we come to learn is Libby. So now she has just inherited that house that everything has happened at. So she's learning more about what actually happened, who all those people were, what her like original, like her birth parents and her, what is the word, biological family, like her siblings and everything, who they were, how they were as people, and just learning more about that. The other 2 perspectives are related to this incident as well, but that gets revealed later on, so I don't want to give too much away. I will say it's definitely reading more as like a suspense, like almost family drama, rather than a traditional thriller like you would think of. There's not really like a big mystery. I mean, the mystery here is what happened to these people, what actually happened the night that they were found dead, what happened to their children. But aside from that, there's not like any crazy reveals or crazy plot twists or anything like that feels thriller-ish to me, but I'm still really enjoying it. It has this very dark atmosphere to all of it. A lot of the themes and just the tone of the story overall is very dark, like gothic feeling, and I'm really loving that. I love me a book that goes dark, and I think Lisa Jewell is really good at that. I know Then She Was Gone, I think, may have been the first book by Lisa Jewell that I've read. I'm not sure, but I remember reading that and really enjoying it because it went a little bit darker than what I was expecting, a little bit darker than some traditional thrillers seem to go. So that definitely seems to be the case in here as well, just with some of the themes, and I'm really liking it. The audiobook itself has been sort of an experience because we have 3 different narrators and they all are British, but then there's a character in here who has a French accent. So the male narrator does this like French accent, this fake French accent that just keeps throwing me off. Like, I think it sounds so cheesy, but that's like an audiobook thing that is not related to the actual story itself. Things are definitely picking up at the point that I'm at now, and like I said, I'm very invested in the story. I'm very invested with the characters, and the story as well is kind of told through like past and present. So we get the present day timeline, these people coming to the house after Libby has inherited it and they're learning more, but then we also get like some glimpses into the past and what happened when these people were there, and we are getting to the point where the real truth, well, maybe the real truth is going to be revealed about what happened the night all of these people died, and I'm really excited just to see everything. There's also a second book. I don't know if it's just a companion or if it is like a sequel, but I'm definitely going to pick that one up after I finish this as well, because I feel like I'll be really curious to see what the second book has to say. As for right now, that is my full update on The Family Upstairs. I probably won't listen to any more tonight and pick it up again at work tomorrow, and then I'll probably be able to finish it. So I will come back and give you guys my final update on that one once it's done. We interrupt this program to bring you a very special book haul because I got some books from one of my favorite places to order used books, which is Better World Books. I just got 3 and the package was pre-ripped for me when it came in the mail. So, let's see. Oh no. This doesn't have a dust jacket on it. This is the first time that has ever happened to me ordering from Better World Books, where a hardcover book has come without a dust jacket, and it's really throwing me off. This is The Ruins by Scott Smith. I'm really sad because I liked the cover of this book, but this is for a very special reading vlog in May. I don't know what month it is. Then I also got, oh, The Seep This one I just kind of threw in there because I needed to add another book to get free shipping, and it's been on my TBR. This is in really good condition and I'm excited. I've heard that it's absolutely disgusting, so we love that. And the last book I got is one that has, I think this is like one of the first 5 books that I added to my TBR on Goodreads, and that is Perfume, the Story of a Murderer. And this is one that I watched the movie in high school and was obsessed with it, and then I didn't know it was a book, and when I found out it was a book, I immediately added it on Goodreads when I first got Goodreads. So I'm really excited to finally read this one. I love the movie, have to rewatch the movie, but now I have the book that I can read with it. And that's all. They also gave me a bookmark, which is cool because I don't believe that they used to do the bookmarks. I don't know, the last time I ordered from them was probably like a year ago, and I don't think that they included bookmarks, but those are the 3 books. Very short, little mini book haul. Now we'll get back to the reading vlog. I am finished with The Family Upstairs and I really enjoyed it. Most of the time these days with thrillers, I feel like I usually end up giving them 3 stars because they're pretty much just in the middle for me. But this one I think I'm actually gonna give 4 stars because I really liked it. Like I said, I really liked the atmosphere and just the dark themes and the dark vibe to everything in this story. I really enjoyed it. I like thrillers that are a little bit darker, and I liked the way that this one played out with all the different characters, how they connected. I liked the way that it ended because it kind of, not really like a cliffhanger, but it ends and like hints at something that might be to come. So that makes me even more excited to pick up the second one and see if it picks up from that point or if it talks about a different point in time with these characters, just what the second one is about. I'm very curious to see, but I did really enjoy this, and I'm really happy that I read it. I don't really have a lot more to say about it though, because I feel like all of the things that I enjoyed are things that I can't talk about because they're spoilers. Like, the different characters and the connections that they all have to each other are slowly unfolding throughout the story, so I can't talk about too much up front. I think this is definitely a book where it's good to go in with the least information possible. If you can go in totally blind, definitely do that and just let the story come to you. Another thing with thrillers is a lot of the time I feel like at the end, like, things get resolved or whatever, but I still have like some questions about certain things or loose ends that didn't get tied up. But this book, I didn't really see that at all. Anytime I did question something that happened or something that a character did, it came back around and got resolved and got touched upon again, and I really like that because I really hate, especially in thriller books, where things are so messy and there's so many different characters and different timelines, and then sometimes the author will like bring up something and then forget to circle back to it, and that was not the case with this one. It makes me really excited though to read more from Lisa Jewell. Obviously she's got a whole lot of books out there and I've only read a few of them, so this has me really excited. Her most recent release, None of This Is True, is on my list of books I want to read this year, so this just has me more excited to get to it because I just really enjoy Lisa Jewell. Moving on to the next one, I will let you guys know how that goes, and hopefully we can keep things going very well for this video. So today I've been reading The Perks of Being a Wallflower, and I am now 94 pages in, and I'm really liking it so far. I feel like this is one of those books that I wish that I had read in high school because I feel like it would have hit a lot harder for me. I have seen the movie. I've seen it a bunch of times. I'm sure a lot of us have seen the movie, so I'm sure a lot of us know what the story of this is. That's kind of like the whole point of this video, is because the books are so popular. But if you don't know, we have this main character whose name is Charlie, and he is just like this awkward high schooler, and he is getting in with this new group of friends, and he's dealing with a lot of issues at home and in his personal life. But the whole book is written through Charlie's letters, so he addresses all his letters to dear friend, but we don't know who that person is that he's writing to. But it's very easy to read. Like, it's been a very, very quick read for me, and I am really liking it, but, you know, as a fully grown adult that I am now, I don't know if it fully hits the same as if I had read it when I was in high school, but I'm gonna keep reading this and let you guys know my final thoughts. Well, I'll let you know how it goes from here. So it is the next day, and I am now onto the second half of The Perks of Being a Wallflower. I'm on page 145, which is just at the beginning of part 4. Things have kind of taken a turn for Charlie. Some things have happened with his friend group. If you know, you know, the party scene, kiss the prettiest girl in the room, which I will say was less awkward reading, still awkward as hell, but less awkward reading, I feel like, than watching it. Like, watching that scene in the movie is so cringe, like such secondhand embarrassment, but I feel like it wasn't as bad in the book. But now, you know, nobody's really talking to him. He's very lonely, very sad, and I still have like the same feelings towards the book. I'm still really enjoying the book, but like I said, I don't know if I'm enjoying it as much as I would have if I had read it when I was in high school, like within this age group where it was a little bit more relatable, but I still really enjoy it and I'm very interested in finishing it. It's just like such a bingeable book. I feel like the way that it's written is so easy to read and it's just been a very, very quick read. So I don't really have much else to say, but I'm gonna finish this and let you guys know my final thoughts. Third book is done and third 4-star in this video, which is really, really good. So I guess what we've learned is what really popular books sometimes actually are good. I don't know what the lesson is, but I did enjoy this. I don't want to like sound like a broken record and keep repeating myself, but I know this is definitely a book that I would have absolutely eaten up in high school when I was going through my like sad girl phase. It didn't hit me like really hard or very emotionally right now. Like there wasn't any huge emotional moment for me, which I feel like this type of book often does deliver. But I did really enjoy the story. I liked that I had seen the movie multiple times so that I had like a visualization while I was reading. And can I just say, like, I think after reading this, like the casting for the movie was actually perfect and they carried over a lot of things from the book, so I do appreciate that. This edition that I have is the 20th anniversary edition. So we have an extra letter at the end from Charlie, which is 20 years later. And I gotta say it wasn't my favorite because I feel like it's just kind of very stereotypical type of message that you would expect from this type of book, where he's saying like, oh, millions of people struggle with this, you're not alone, if you ever feel down, like call a friend, and I made it, so will you. Like very cliche. Like that's obviously the message that this book and others like it are trying to get across to other people, especially teens. So like I get it. I just don't think that that last letter needed to be included. It is, like I said, for the 20th anniversary edition, so it's not a part of the original book. But I just think overall, like, it was kind of pointless. I did like the way that the actual book itself ended. Overall, it was a good read and one that I'm glad I got to because it has been sitting on my shelf for way too long. It has been sitting in my brain for way too long. So I finally get to cross it off, put it on the shelf with my read books, and I did really like it. So yay for that. With that being said, that brings us to the end of the video. Like I said, we had four 4-stars. We had 3 4-star books, starting with Yellowface by R.F. Kuang, then The Family Upstairs by Lisa Jewell, and The Perks of Being a Wallflower by Stephen Chbosky. Another thing so crazy to me, like that this is the same author that wrote Imaginary Friend, which, should I reread that book? Because I read that book when I was getting back into reading and trying to find some like fun horror things to read, and I really loved it, but I don't know if having read so much more since then, I don't know if I will still enjoy that book. But it's crazy that that is the same author of this because they're so vastly different. I just think it's so interesting. But that's the end of this video. I feel like this is going to be a shorter one because I feel like for every book I just was saying, oh, I don't really know what to say, but it's good. So anyways, with all of that being said, thank you guys so much for watching, and hopefully I will see you next time.